children with no voice in borrowed rooms, to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand, finding the ones who fell through the cracks of the plan. From Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world, every flag he planted said, you matter, you're heard, but there's a man who finds you in the car.
I don't hear you, Annie. So that might be me.
I'm sure it's not you. You hear me now?
Nope. I hear you now, yes.
It feels like my USB camera has gone to pot. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's gone to put. It's really annoying.
Heck, man. What can you do?
Buy a new one. which I've done. I've got a new Cyrus.
I've bought new stuff and it still didn't work.
Isn't that the worry, right? Isn't that the worry? So I've got a new camera coming in the next couple of days. I think it'll be here by now, to be fair. What can I do? I'm so glad you're here, Coach Sean. You're the one that talks identity. So, no better one for us to learn from by this topic. I'll say that for sure, right?
I was like, he did that on purpose.
Maybe I did. Here's the truth. We hear about identity and alignment all the time. I don't think many of us know what it really means. So that's one of my drivers today. Now, the other real reason is I've taken on the mission to write the book about how to get unstuck in your business. And no surprise to you, I'm sure, that the first step is to be understanding of who you are. We get stuck when we don't know who we are, when we don't know what we're trying to do, when our identity is, it's wishy-washy. It's not clear, it's not defined. So of course, when you have to write a book, you have to write words. So I'm like, what is identity? It could be anything. It could be many things, right? It could be nothing. Is it our thoughts? Is it our behaviors? Is it our hopes? Are you with me? Like, is it our personality? Is it, I'll show you a video that's what brings all those things together.
Keep digging. Keep digging.
Right. So it's all of that. So in business, really, which elements of our identity do we need to be clear about and maybe work on to truly to truly move the needle? I may say, look, now I've got a preference for a type of shoes. They're called trainers. That's me, right? Is that really gonna affect my business? Probably not. But there's whereas if I say my values, right, that's gonna affect my business, right? But again, it's a nebulous term. What's it mean? What are our values? We know what it means. So let's unpick it to make my life easier. And I say, what I would love to do from today is drop this what we discussed today into my book, literally, and say, right, here's what identity is, and here's how we can build it. Here's how we can build on it to really build our business and become unstuck. And the unstuck thing,
Yes.
Thank you for AI, Coach Sean. AI has managed to create unstuck. Unstuck. So now all those letters, unstuck. What's it called?
Unstuck.
Analogy, is that the word for it? Anagram. So literally,
Anagram, yeah.
Yeah,
Unstuck is an acronym.
Acronym. That's the one. That's the one. So
like NASA or etc. Yeah.
I created it. And I looked at it. I was like, damn, it doesn't work. It's just a load of words. Then I looked again and I saw the unstuck thing. So I'm powerful head. Anyway, talk to me. How are you doing these days?
I'm doing well. Been focusing on getting in conversations with coaches and how things go. Like, what do they do between sessions? Because often you can speak to this. Often we are in a coaching session and we're like, yeah, get breakthroughs, shifts, insights.
I'll do it. I get it. I'm going to do it.
And we walk out the door. We wake up Monday morning in the middle of our life, relationships, job, etc., and real world hits us and we slip back. Because, this is what I talk about every Monday, because our identity is not locked.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it is locked. It's just not locked on the place we would want it.
It's not aligned. It's not tied to what we just said we would do. So I think that this just makes my question even more. It's even more interesting in that, like I said earlier, is our identity what we say we will do? Because very often we're not going to do it. If truth be told,
right. Well, or if you say, I'm not the type of person who exercises regularly.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be able to develop a good exercise habit?
No chance.
No chance.
Even if you say, I'm one who exercises regularly, I think a few things need to happen.
You have to say it. You have to say it more than once.
Yes, and it's more than say it. You have to believe it. Truly,
you have to believe it. Yes. Well, and I would say, okay, first, let's kill the lie about identity. It's not a personality trait. It's not fixed.
Yeah.
It's not something you have or who you are. It's who you've decided you have to keep being to feel safe, seen, or in control.
I love that. That's as true and as honest and as accurate as it gets. Really. It's a choice we make.
Yeah. Well, and it's a process, right? It doesn't just we don't just wake up one night with this. It's calcified layer over layer over layer until suddenly we're where we don't want to be, and or we're not who we want to be, and then we have to, you know, rebuild it, or change it. I would say it this way, Annie. There's 3 layers that make up our identity. The first is evidence. What is
No, that's okay. Someone can see that. So first evidence, you say. What do you mean?
so the things you've done, your achievements, the things you survived, the things that happened again and again and again, right? This is, I call this the resume layer, right? And a lot of people stop right there. You know, I'm a Navy vet, I'm a coach, I'm the responsible one, but these aren't identity. They're masks, right? They're labels. The second layer, you mentioned it, beliefs. It's the story we construct about what that evidence means. For me, it was something like it wasn't that I served in the Navy. I'm someone who follows the structure because structure's what kept me safe. Right? That it's the meaning that you assign to the evidence that you've built. And there's a good question from, I'm going to guess Annie, just written differently. It looks like Annie.
Me. It looks like me, but it's not me. It's not me. Of course it is.
All right. So the third layer. So we got evidence, we've got belief, commitment. It's the thing we're committed to protecting, defending, or performing. And we often do that beyond the threat. The threat ended, but we keep doing it. We keep living that same loop. And that's where we go stale. We get stuck. We're running on the treadmill as hard as we can, going nowhere.
But look, the 3 factors you mentioned, I agree with you. I can accept all of them. I think part of our identity is becoming the person who does that. I think to do that, we need to combine all 3 and live in that world, that bit that you say.
Well, I would add an extra, not just live, but live into.
Yes. Do it. Love it, and just keep doing it over and over. Of course, and I hear what you're saying. If you are on the not right path, I don't want to say wrong path. I'm saying if you're not in a path that's truly aligned with you,
right, the aligned path. You're the one that's aligned with you, your values, your purpose.
Then you truly are stuck. Look, again, I think all of us live this every day. That's why we say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. About an hour later, it's gone. It's just gone. Because we didn't start with there's no evidence that tells us that we can even do this. Once we say, I'm not sure I can do this, then it's gone. And then once we
Well,
say, I don't believe I can do it, forget it. We're done. It's game over.
there's a story I heard once. Classroom full of like middle school kids.
Mm.
Teacher walks in, goes to the board, and writes 9 problems on the board. Every one of the students, like, teacher, you got the third one wrong. Teacher, you got the third one wrong. And she says, isn't it funny? I got 9 right,
Yeah.
but you all focused on the one wrong. We do
Yeah.
that with ourselves. Like, the evidence, we're zeroed in on the evidence that says, oh, well, I'm not any good at video presentations. I'm not good at public speaking, whatever.
Yeah.
And we only see that. But if you take the time and go through, I'm sure you can find at least one piece of evidence that said you did great at that thing. But we get stuck on all the negative evidence.
Yeah.
I lived this, Annie, 8 years ago.
We all do. I think we'll go. Please carry on, please.
So I had shared something that just downloaded, like I didn't even know where it came from. And someone said to me later on, she's like, that thing you shared, it was so insightful. It, like, everything shifted for me. Like, the light bulb went on and everything changed. Here I was sitting there, like, I had this happen again and again and again. Like, your wisdom you shared, this gem you shared. And I'm sitting there going, who's listening? Nobody listens to me. They don't care what I say. I did that for decades until I went back through and said, and stopped focusing on the evidence that proved what I believed and focused on the evidence that told me the truth.
Again, I like how you put that. Again, I think we create the evidence if we choose to. Everything comes back to the choice that we have to make. I think that's where you started, right? There's a choice we have to make. Like, do I tell myself I do events, in which case I'm here today? And yes, I've done some bad events, as you say. Some events have gone wrong, right? But deep down, I know so many events have gone well. It's my version of well, anyway. And I think we have to live in that. We have to create that illusion of we've done. I like this. We've done well. I enjoy doing this. It's all of that, right? It's very easy to say to ourselves, I don't like doing it. It was too much hard work. I feel tired. I'm burnt out. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I think we have to truly almost be delusional to create the evidence we're looking for. It's the fact that we are prone to, like you say, pick the negative thing in our lives. It drives me crazy.
It's a psychological fact. It's There's two things. We are negative biased, and then there's confirmation bias. We have a belief, so we focus on all the things that prove that to us.
I agree 100%. And you hear me say very often in my rooms, don't focus on the 1% feedback. Nine out of 10 people say your event was good or your party was good, whatever you do was good. Take that. But if one person says it was terrible, just ignore them. Totally ignore them. Don't even entertain them and say, "Oh, I wonder." No, don't wonder. Just let them go. That's 1 out of 10. It's not. No, don't focus on them because nine said you did great. Hold on to those and build on that instead. Because we're very prone to go down that awful line of, oh, but what if they're right? What do I need to change and all of that, right?
What if they're right? That rejection fear, like. I saw this in a book recently, like having an alter ego who's not afraid to do those things, who can stand and hold an event, and half the people could say that was a terrible event, and they're like, well, half of them said it wasn't.
Yeah, that's me. That's me all over. That's me.
Right? Beyonce, everybody knows that name. She's shared about her alter ego, Sasha Fierce. Whenever, fear tries to hold her back,
Mm.
she just embodies Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, yeah. No, again, I can see why. I can see why we lost it for a second, but you're here again, so it's cool.
Yes.
Carry on. Sasha Fierce.
I don't know if, yeah, Sasha Fierce. So when she needs the strength to do the thing,
Mm.
she embodies Sasha Fierce, and Sasha Fierce isn't afraid of it.
We all need that part of us, right? Like, bro, Charlie, I love all your comments. Felipe, welcome as well. Welcome. Yeah, I said, bro, Charlie asked, when was the last time you told yourself the truth? It's right. I don't know what you remember a room that Tamrat did a long time ago. He said, like, literally, what is true? Like, what's the truth? Is there a truth? Now, brother Charlie, I think your question makes me ask it, like, is there a truth? I think we will approach it and say, of course, it's the truth. What happened is what happened, right? That's the truth. But I think what I learned that day is that we make our own truth.
To a point, yeah, for sure.
Our beliefs, what we think we saw, how we analyze the evidence that you said, for sure. That's we write our own truth. And most of us don't. There's no objective truth. Is there an objective truth? Objective truth is the question. What do you think?
I think there, in some things, there are definitely. I mean, if you step off the 10th floor of a building, you're going down. That's an objective truth,
It's a long way. It's a long way down.
right?
It's gonna
If you
hurt.
heat if you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it
Yeah.
will boil and turn to steam. Those
Don't
are
put your hand.
objective truths.
Don't put your hand.
I think that the challenge is we hold truths that they can't be proven one way or the other.
Mm.
We believe them 100% as objective truth. And that's where we get stuck, is because we're locked into that belief. Like, all British guys are pompous.
That is so
And
untrue.
it is. I mean, case in point right here. But I have had a lot of experience with British men that it's like, okay, no, I can't deal with that.
That's when there's a type of British. There's a type of person that I can understand that you might have that sort of impression of. So I know, the comments, the working class whitish people. So I said there's parts of people here you might say that's true. But I think it is the fact that there is no all about it. There's no they're all, or even most of them are that way. If that makes sense. I think our generalizations can be we're quick to generalize in a way that harms us. I always fail. Whenever I try, it never works for me. So that way of thinking. It can be quite dangerous. But Charlie, again, it's hard to hear. Is it me? It's hard to hear initially. Okay. It's hard to hear, but there is freedom in
Yeah, I know for me, Annie,
That's what it means.
your voice is very echoey, and there's like almost like a fan noise or something. I don't know.
It's not fine here. I don't know what's going
It
on.
takes some
God. Sorry, I was
wherever you just were, your voice got really clear for a moment.
was behind the camera. I can't stand behind the camera. I will get a different camera. Yeah, so that's my solution to my problem. Right? Next time we're on, I will have a better camera. I'm sure.
Yes. And side note, I can stay like 10 to 20 more minutes because
Yeah.
I have an appearance later at the top of the hour. So
Online or are you
online, it's going to be on Substack. It's a show called Sessions from the Edge.
So what's that?
He's the creator. He was, I don't remember exactly. Was he a CEO or he was, he had a good corporate job. Like he was doing well. He was successful by all counts. And then he was diagnosed with a chronic condition that just derailed everything for him. So a lot of his guests are talking about like everything looks good on the outside and then something changes and it brings you to the edge.
It changes your truth. So all of a sudden, like drastically. Yeah. Of course, it must change your identity as well.
Well, it's often, in my experience, it's often when people realize it can either destroy you or it can be the point where you wake up and go, I've been running the wrong identity this whole time. I need to look at it. That's what happened to me. My identity, I was operating under an identity and everything came crashing down. And I stood on the edge saying, why? What am I going to do? But through the power of community and people who cared and held me to a higher standard, including myself, I pulled back and rebuilt my identity the right way.
Thank goodness, why I say, right? Thank goodness.
Yes.
Being honest with ourselves. That's what you're talking about, very good. Sure. We have to be honest with ourselves. One day we have to smell the coffee and realize we're not immortal. We're not going to live forever. And our time really is going. Our time is. I think for many of us, midlife is when we tend to make that sudden realization that we are more than enough there. We're not going to. If we're lucky if we get to 100, we better get on with it. Charlie says, build till you burst. Yes, build with it until you burst. That's a detail of us. And also, I love this. It says, we must update the power version of reality. We must. I think when we begin to ask the question, who am I? I think suddenly our thinking goes somewhere else. We suddenly realize that maybe we're not thinking of, maybe we haven't worked out who we are. Yeah?
Right. You got to do some excavation.
Yes.
Self-excavation. Because purpose, right? Everybody wants purpose. Everybody hears you need your purpose. You need your why. And what I see a lot of times is like people think it's like, oh, it's that thing I got to go searching for it. Like you go hunting mushrooms in the forest. I want to say it's already in you. You just got to uncover it.
For sure. Again, it's the fact that we have to make choices about which part. You see, look, my thinking about our identity, I know there's many parts. I guess I bring it down to maybe three things in business. That's why I write about it in my book anyway. Again, I love to know what you think about these core elements, maybe core values, but core elements of who we are that really matters. Now, you mentioned just now why. I think the what is more important. I really do. What are we trying to achieve? Then we can talk about the why. But many of us are not clear about the what. We know why. I want to get rich. I want to make my family financially independent. I want to serve a million people. Whatever your why is, what is it you're trying to achieve? The reason I say that the what matters is because I think the what links to our identity in a big way. When you
Right.
know the what, and when you know the what, rather than do what everyone does, which you get stuck on the how.
Right. Well, and that's a lot of, I think this is where we've got to go down a level.
Mm.
A why is important, but a lot of the industry in the world, it's vague, right? A lot of coaches, they oh, I'm going to help everyone that needs help. Maybe someone in your position, oh, I just want to help people get their books out there, make you famous. That's not a mission. That's exactly the opposite. That's a total absence of one,
Yeah.
because our why has to trace back to something lived. It's not aspirational, right? That's why they say, you want to find out who your best clients are? Look at yourself 5 years ago, look at yourself 10 years ago. That's probably who you're looking for,
Yeah. I love that.
right? You don't get to claim a mission that you haven't paid for. Mine traces back to watching people, including myself, mistake obedience to that old identity for loyalty, and deciding, who do I exist to serve and why? That's the mission for me, is who do I exist to serve and why?
Yeah.
For me, that's, I exist to serve people who, they're succeeding, but they're succeeding at the thing that quietly they stopped wanting it.
They realized it's not. Or maybe they haven't realized yet. I guess that they're still trying to force their rampage to a square hole, and vice versa.
Right. And instead of running towards something, very often we're running away from something, right? We're afraid to look and sit with ourselves in
Mm.
silence.
It creates a conundrum for us, as people who live. Again, I think this. I say I love this dude. The story's interpretation of the evidence, and that's what they show us around the game. It's so true. No, and so, but this interpretation is a choice we have now. What we decide on is a choice that we make. Like say like the what, the why, even the how. It's a choice we have to make based on who we think we are. It's strange that. Look, as I say, Brother Charlie, I agree with you. That structure gives us balance. Like this is what my book's all about, really. The 7 steps to truly move from being stuck to being in flow. It's really that. That's what I'm trying to do. Really. Look. So
Right.
I've said the what part, right? You said the why I guess the why and who you are, right? Who you're trying to serve. That comes into it. I think a second part in my formula is faith. Again, you're not going to talk about Mr. Is it Wattles? Is that his name? The one source, the one source, the one source. He wrote a book. That there's one source, and his one source for everything is what he calls radical. You know, I guess radical openness. Right. You see, the reason I stick to the is what that matters is because I don't think the how matters. I think we're too stuck on the how. Maybe that's
Yeah,
part,
it's
right. Maybe that's part of our identity thing. Yeah, but I think we need to drop that. We need to truly be open to the idea that how I get to where I want to get doesn't matter. And it will change. It will evolve as I evolve, as you said earlier, for sure, right? We will change, we evolve, get better, we get worse at some things. But literally, the path is not fixed. I think we can easily get too fixated on the one way to get there. And it's not going to help us. What's going to help us is giving faith to whatever whoever your God is, and saying, right,
mhm.
you know, God will show me how to get there. Maybe, and just maybe, what I'm doing today is not the way. Maybe I'm going to find out the real way in 3 years' time, in 2 years' time, maybe a month's time. I suddenly realize this is how I'm going to get there. Look, let me give you an example so you don't think I'm talking in a vacuum. When I started, it was to give small businesses a voice and visibility. How are you going to do that in marketing agency? I'm going to do social media. I'm going to do ads. I'm going to do all these things that I hate doing. I hate doing it. I do them, but I don't enjoy any of it. Right? Somewhere on my journey, I had to be honest and say to myself, "You're not a marketer in that sense. I don't enjoy doing any of that stuff." Right? So what do you enjoy doing? And I said that's when I think my God essentially told me, right, there's other things you can do instead. You know, publishing books is a
Mhm.
much more meaningful endeavor that really moves the needle for people. Me making you dance on TikTok is not going to change your life. I can lie to you if you want. You can pay me hundreds every month if you want, right? But helping you write your book, publish your book, sell your book can really change lives. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. God, I'll do that. I'm with that, right? And then events came along. And so suddenly it was okay, Eddie, combine events with books. Now the thing is not like yes, I love to write books, publish books. But what I love more is selling books. And then you realize there's other ways to sell books. It's not just social media. Now people putting them out authors on stages. Trying to get them on podcasts, getting them on events like this. And suddenly, the game that started off with 10 years, 11 years ago is so different to where I am now. I think you have to be open to the power of faith. Now, God will give you the ways to get. Now, whether it's God, your universe, spirit, call you what you like, but you'll find the way to get to where you're trying to get to. If only you don't stay fixated on the one way. I said, no, those are my two really big things, really. I think the third thing about our identity, it is do it, do. Stop thinking, stop talking, do. The more you do, the more you get the evidence you talked about. The more
Right.
you have to do something to go beyond thinking and talking. That's my formula. So of course I'm gonna, you know, I hear what you say to that. I'm gonna add what you say to my to my thinking and make sense of it and see where we're going. So we're going that tough and we're going nowhere fast. But Felipe, look, I agree. I think we have to tell ourselves I'm a person who has faith. I believe in the greater power that should. I think most of us don't say those words to ourselves, but we tell ourselves, I don't believe in religion. I used to be that person. I'm still that person. I don't believe in. I'm not a religious person. In the power of in the spiritual world, it exists for a reason. It does move our lives, and I believe
Yes.
it does. I'm the one who listens to that spiritual world, and all that comes with that. Please stay with me before you say. I know your time is short now. I can see your time is very short.
Yes. Well, and I want to highlight something I saw in the comments that I replied in the comments as well. Um, Someone said the hero. I am not a hero. I don't want to be anybody's hero. Because one thing I learned a long time ago is I can't change anyone. I can change me. That's it. Can I guide someone? Can I show them the way? Absolutely. Right? It's the old you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I can highlight what I've learned about identity and how you can form it, how it is malleable, not fixed. It's not our personality trait. It's something we build. And anything that can be built, of course, can be rebuilt. I see a coach as a mirror, as a guide on your side to help you celebrate your wins, to recognize blind spots or wins that you didn't even know, like you're bypassing.
I would add learning. I think the capacity to learn is an important part of our identity. We must, like as you say, I think what I didn't realize as you were talking is that many of us get stuck, as we said earlier, we get stuck in who we think we are, and that's where we stay, even when it's not serving us anymore.
Right.
We know we're suddenly stuck, we're lost. So the capacity to learn and evolve. Whether that's with a coach or that's but we must learn. We must continue to evolve. And I think again, all of this comes to who we tell ourselves we are. I'm someone who learns. I'm someone who always learns. I'm someone who. I'm saying, if I say I know everything, my actions will reflect that. I'm not gonna try and learn.
Right.
It's on.
You're going to act as if you know everything. So why do I got to learn?
And to know, but any knows a fact that I've learned recently. The more you know, the more you know you don't know. Whereas the less you know, the more you think you know.
Well, and I heard it said once, Annie, the true sign of a master is to realize you still have more to learn. Right? Even if you've done right, the what do they call it? The 10,000 hour rule,
Yeah,
like to
10,000
become an expert, 10,000 hours of doing it. But a true master realizes that even with that 10,000 hours or more, that they're not done.
Yeah, but that's all of us, right? That's all of us. I see the legend Mel's here. How you doing, Mel? Hi to you too. So glad you're here. And look, I think all of us have the capacity to do more, learn more, do more, be more. Yeah, believe more, and just achieve more, serve more. All those things, right? But it's all back down to the story we tell ourselves. Who are we telling ourselves we are? Based on what criteria? How do you judge your identity? Coach Sean, look, if you have to go, I will understand. Of
Yes,
course,
I do need to run because I gotta
I
gotta
can
fill
see
the
that.
water tank.
I can see that. But thank you so much for coming up. Thank you as always. It's looking like you've had me learn a lot already, so I will definitely incorporate what I've learned from you today. I'm sure I'll be learning from you and your life discussion as well. So you enjoy your night.
All right,
Thank
take good care, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a
you.
good one.
My friends, of course, you're welcome to join us on stage. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, leave me up here. I can talk to myself. Well, I talk to you, but I can happily talk. It's not often I get to have the stage to myself. Josh, I agree with you. Having faith doesn't guarantee success, but it sure helps a great deal. Instead of trying to believe you are doing it all on your own, I said that is so true, right? Because you're not. As difficult as that may be to process sometimes. Josh, I'm totally with you. I think our greater power, greater being, whether it's God, whether it's spirit, whether it's the universe, whatever it is as your greater being, is forever helping you to be who to be who you are, to achieve what you are here to achieve. And I know what I just said, right? Josh, I'm with you. Like, my God will put people in front of me at the right time. Right? My God will put ideas in front of me at the right time. Like, if you don't believe that there is a greater power than us, I think we get lost because it's hard to explain the miracles that happen to us every day. I mean, meeting all of you, meeting you, Josh, meeting Brother Charlie, meeting Mel. These are miracles in my life, truly. And where am I going to think that came from? Nowhere. Luck? No, there's no such thing as luck or coincidence. I truly believe that we're all blessed, and if we believe, then it opens a way of thinking for us. Again, I'm telling you, someone who's not religious at all. If you met me a couple of years ago, even a year ago, I might say to you, at all. But I've realized too many things happen to us I can't explain any other way apart from the greater power that puts things in front of us, people in front of us at the right time, even ideas, even who we think we are. Like I said earlier, we all started off somewhere. All of us did. That's without even knowing everyone's story, right? I don't have to know everyone's story, but I know we all started off somewhere. We had a dream, we had a plan, we had a goal, we had a what, we had a how. And then after a few months, a few years, we realized that formula was not going to get us to where we wanted to go. It wasn't going to give us the happiness. It wasn't going to help us to serve the people that we want to serve. It wasn't going to give us all the things we dream of, whatever that may be for you. It's wealth, it's selling 1,000 books, selling 5,000 books. I'm saying whatever we're doing almost has. I can see where Coach Sean says everything has almost has a shelf life. But then, can we create a version of ourselves, what we do, how we think, how we be, that will give us true happiness? Especially in business. I don't know. But the faith element is very, very important. And like I say, yeah, again, Josh, you're gifted today, my friend. You're gifted today. Josh says all the door is open, and the doors are always open. Again, for me, I take that along the faith, along the faith idea. And look, my aim today is not just to talk to you about identity. My aim today is to get someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's Krista, maybe it's someone else, right? To truly to write a statement. I am the type of person who what? What's next bit? What type of person are you in a way that helps you serve more people? That's what I hope you walk away from here with today. That's what I hope people who read my book and stuck in 7-step formula will walk away with. They will leave with more clarity about who they are, who we are, and how we do what we do, how we be who we be. Yeah, because I think when we can be clear about who we are, what we do, and as Josh said, why we do it, I think we give the universe, we give our God more instructions, more clarity about how to help us. The problem I see is that for a long time, I'm as guilty as anyone. So I'm not talking down to anyone. So this is not as much to me as to anyone else. Right? There's so much more that we can do to serve the world. So much more. but we talk ourselves out of it. If we say that that's not me, that's too much for me to do. I'm not sure I'm good enough to do that. Oh, can I really? Oh, that's not what I do. I do marketing. I don't do that. No. Really. So I'm learning that we have to be the people who say yes to opportunities, because the real opportunities, the real doors in front of us that you mentioned, Josh, sometimes it looks nothing like the doors that we expect to see. And we may well think, no, I'm not going to. Why would I do that? You see, if you have no faith, if you say to yourself, I'm not someone who believes in the greater powers, in the power of miracles, in the power of God to show me the way, you close your mind to so many things. This is what I'm realizing, right? We all close our minds to things, and we're limiting our potential, limiting how we can serve, what we can achieve. That's my point today, really. I think we have to be truly open. It's what I want to calls it radical openness. Truly being the person that says yes. The person you meet today, if you believe that they're there in front of you for a reason, how you respond to them is much different to if you believe not that they're there for a reason. If you believe that there is no greater power, you know, no. If you believe there's no greater power, then you say no. Why would I want to talk to? Why would in that moment, when we tell ourselves, I'm not the person who believes, but who has faith in greater powers, and the power of miracles, and the power of God's intentionality. Once we do that, then we demand ourselves opportunities that are in front of us. Judy, I see you. I'm the type of person who empowers other people. Brilliant. Now, truly, right. Now, why do I love that, Judy? Now, Judy, I tell you why I love that. See, the how, there's a million and one ways that you could potentially, empower other people, right? I may ask you which people to get a bit more clarity. What we're not doing, Judy, is limiting your how. Today, the how may be do events. Tomorrow, it may be do an event in real life. After that, it might be something else, right? I think that we have to give ourselves a chance to truly discover what our way is. And also, again, this comes back to the question of who are we, our identity. Right? Now, who are we will determine how we do it, right? For today, it may be that we do online events. I'm looking at some of this. I see Miss Margaret here, I see Miss Marsha here as well. Right? Today, there's a way that we do what we do. But we have to be open to the fact that that way may not be the way that we have to do what we do ultimately. Let that sink in for a bit. Truly let that sink in. Eliana, welcome. Always great to see you. I always hope you pronounce your name correctly. So we'll have our journeys, peeling away the layers of who we once were, the parts that no longer allow us to grow. That's exactly it. It was to truly do that. So we have to be open to the world we live in being nothing like we can predict, nothing like we see, right? Nothing like we can understand. So that's my belief in radical openness. Truly, what we do, our solution could be a million and one things. It really could. And it may be nothing that we thought of. And again, if I go back to when I started my business in 2015, there was no talk of books. There was no talk of events. Events didn't exist, obviously. Webinars existed, but they were not the thing. Right? The events that we actually do much different to weddings. Right? I never thought of doing like putting my author friends on stages. In those days, our thinking didn't go beyond sticking flyers on trees. I live in Cornwall, by the way. I live in countryside, so they still have backward ideas. Who would have thought that we'd be meeting on Zoom all those years ago? Again, when I was a kid, computers were barely. There were computers, but there was barely internet. The internet just started. Yes, I lived through the days of putting a disk into the computer, an AO disk into my computer, and the disk playing and doing whatever it was doing to give me internet in the end. Very slow internet, mind. Yeah. And so from those days to where we are now, people have had to truly look within to see that their solution is not the fixed one and ideal end all answer. But I could talk all day. Let me show you a video quickly, and then we might actually leave on time today if we're lucky, right? We might actually leave on time and leave reason today. So I'm sure you all know I love my videos. So let me show you a video about identity that may help to deepen our understanding. Okay, now 3 minute video, well, 2.5 minute video read. So let me show you this, and then it might give us a better idea of what identity looks like.
Did you know that you are incredible, one of a kind, and there is no one else on this planet who is exactly like you? Pretty awesome, huh? But hang on, what exactly is it that makes you, you? Is it your personality? Or the way you look? Perhaps it's the way you think, or what you believe. Maybe it's what you like to do, or simply where you come from. Well, the truth is, all of these things are what make you you. This is called our identity. You see, our identity is like a little recipe. When you bake a cake, you use lots of different ingredients. The ingredients by themselves do not make the cake, but put them together and you have a masterpiece. So, just like a cake, our identity is made up of lots of different parts. And different parts will make different people, just as different ingredients will make different cakes. And difference is great. After all, the world would be a pretty boring place if we were all exactly the same. A big part of our identity is our values. What do we value? What do we think is important? What do we think is right and wrong? Sometimes this part of our identity is called our core values. Some parts of our identity might stay the same our whole life. Parts like our skin colour or where our family is from. Other parts, like our hobbies, how we like to dress, and even our thoughts, may change as we grow and learn more about ourselves and the world. We should all be proud of our identities because it is who we are. Hey, try this. Copy this picture or print it out at popandolly.com/free-resources and write in the bubbles all the different parts that make you, you. Can you share this exercise with a friend? The more people you can share it with,
Right, my friends, look, hopefully you get the idea, right? Now, I think a couple of things that sort of stick out for me about the video, right? Yes, please. It's mission so many times over. Time for 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'll be here, Josh. I'll be here. Still working on a mission. Josh, this is that says I'm reading Josh that showing. My friends, look, the video seems simple. You know, I think the trick to stay energized in our businesses, in our missions, in our endeavor. And again, if any of you know Josh, then you realize that this is a man who has been on many journeys on this one journey, right? Really, and he knows who he is. And I remember when I met Josh last year, and you're thinking, how does a superstar musician do what Josh does and carries on doing it year after year and has big plans to go even bigger, to go on tour, create more music, and you realize it is who Josh is. It is, he's a musician, he's a musical genius. He knows that. And he lives that every day. Every day he practices in a way that you can't even imagine. Again, I have to do Josh. So when Josh wrote that with Bob Dylan, who says, someday you're going to have to serve someone. Right? But it is based on who you tell yourself you are. The alternative is that we feel burnt out, we feel exhausted, we feel unfulfilled, we feel this is too much, I'm on the wrong road. Again, as the video said, look, difference is key. Let's, I say, I stick on this point of difference because your way is not going to be my way because of who you believe you are and what you believe is the way. It is good to be different. Let's embrace our differences. Anyone who's listening to me, how are you doing, Mr. Cyrus? I'm surprised you're not on stage, my friend. But I'm sure you're busy. It's fine. It's perfectly fine, right? Right, my friend. Look, who you believe you are, how you believe what you do needs to be done. Embrace it. Don't just embrace it. Love it. Love it. Sharpen it. And serve. As Josh said, serve people. Yes, look, as you serve people, how you do what you do may have to change. That's life. Right? It's a good thing. It is, again, if I can talk about the blue ocean strategy many times, anyone tell me more than once or more than a few times. The blue ocean strategy simply says, let's stop doing things the way everyone else does things. That is fishing in the red ocean. The red ocean is full of companies that are competing against each other, fighting chunks at each other, because they all try to compete against each other. Whereas in the blue ocean, you do something radically different to all the others. In the blue ocean, you have no competition because you have a unique way. That is a place that is holy, a place that is blessed, a place that you want to be in. We want to be in the blue ocean. So, but the only way we're going to get there is by being willing to stand up and say, yeah, my way is my way. Yeah? I believe in my way. I have refined my way, as we've talked about today. I've learned more. I have sharpened how I do it. I'm I'm committed to it. I'm committed to this way because right. Again, I'm pausing for a reason. See, at the heart of everything we do, at the heart of every business, at the heart of every service, coach, marketing, whatever, publisher, whatever you want to do it, whatever it is, Cyrus, he does websites, domain names, and domain concepts. Cyrus does everything. That's what this podcast is. You see, we have to truly take what it is we do and sharpen it based on what our audience needs. So then you realize a strange fact. Almost all of us have it within us to serve people better. I'm thinking of Marsha, for example, with Connecting Impact Hub, on house people's charity. Yeah, and I said, I've sat down and thought many a time, and I'm sure I've told her more than once, Marsha, you need to get into policy, you need to get into housing policy, local government, maybe national government. You need to find a way to get these people off the streets in a way that gives them the life that they want, that they will live. I'm not going back to the streets. Marsha says, whatever, I'm going to give them survival bags, essentially, what it comes down to. So I'm going to give all of them bags with basic essentials for them to live. Whether you live in your car, whether you live on the streets, the basics, which I will collect, I will fund, and I will give them. Now, the reason, again, I mentioned Marsha, not because I think she is necessarily right. It doesn't matter what I think. She has a way of doing business. She has a way of serving the underclass people. And clearly, she brings joy to people's lives. She makes a difference in their lives. You stick to her, my friend. Stick to her. You do what you do your way. And the rest of us will talk and tell you what we think. Ignore us. Whatever you do, all of us here, my friends, do what you do and do it with gusto. Do it with pride. Do it with all that you have. But every day we sharpen our swords and we try to get better, to serve people better, better results, better outcomes. And in that process, I'm sure we're going to make ourselves more happier, more fulfilled, and also, I dare say it, richer. You see, when we're competing, our price is forever going down because we're competing against other people in the prices. Whereas when we truly occupy that emotional space, we create a solution that's unique to us, that fits with who we are, how we see ourselves, what we believe, and what we committed to. Committed to is not a figure of speech. What are you willing to do that others are not willing to do for your life? That is the reason. That's a real falling, right? Look, I will thank you all for being here today. I will thank for sure thank you to save me from myself. I think I could have talked for an hour, I'm sure. But you added some dimension to our conversation, which helped me. That's right. So Josh, Josh says, but Jesus Christ still heals. He did this do it a couple of 1,000 years ago. So it happens every day. I agree with you, Josh. I'm even proof a few times over. We all are. Not that has anything to do with this. No, it is to do with this conversation, Josh. Look, I say again, you want to be someone who says, I believe in the power of miracles. I believe, whether you believe in God, in the universe, in the spirit, whatever you want to believe in, you have to believe, we all have to believe in the power of the supernatural to give us the answers that we're looking for. The how, the what, the why, the when. If you don't believe in the powers of the spirits, you will nor bypass, neglect opportunities. That actually, that's what I've learned truly. If you believe in the power of miracles, then you see everything as an opportunity. That's what someone today, like, oh, bad things happen. I'm like, yeah, but in every bad thing that happens, there's an opportunity there. If you don't believe, as you're saying, Josh, in the power of God, like Jesus Christ, and all of that, then you only see things one way. Life is hard. Life is miserable. My business is not working. But if you truly believe, you're open to the miracles that your God can give you. And believe you me, so those miracles, they are transformative. Not just for us, but for our audience as well, right? You know, look, I guess, I don't know, Marsha, I hear you, my community gives me joy, it's true. So, the community gives me joy, no matter where we're in life. We're accepted, and we're here to support each other. We grow together, as I say all the time. We must evolve to stay involved. It's so true, right? We truly, we all support each other. We all learn from each other. Again, I remember a little while ago, there was this hoo-ha. People used to get really upset because you set your room, you choose a title or topic. I set my room, I choose a title or topic. Someone else does a room, and somehow or another the topics are similar. And they're like, oh, but you've copied me. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do because what I'm going to talk about is based on my identity, my Annie's way of doing events, right? The conversational style, not this science-based way of doing things. It's literally, there's my way of doing things, your way of doing things. Does someone copy you? No, they can, but they can't really. Because who you are, how you do what you do, must be something that's different to what others can do. I don't say that just as I mean that sincerely. What we do is it has to be materially different to how other people do it. Otherwise, why are we doing it? It's all of that, right? Look, I'll leave you with the idea in the video, right? And the idea in the video is make a list of who you are, the core values. Say the video showed us that I believe, I do, it's all of that. But I say, make a list of the things that really move your target audience's lives forward. What do they really need? What are the 3 or 4 things that they really need? In my book, I talk about the one thing that you're going to do differently. The one thing. What's the one thing that truly becomes you, that will move your life, your business, move the people who you exist to serve's lives forward? What's the one thing that you need to become today? For me today, again, a few months ago, I had to publish books. Today, I have to sell books. It sounds similar, but it's materially different. Writing books, publishing books is one thing, but all of that doesn't matter to anyone if you don't actually sell books. So my whole life today is spent trying to find a way to get each client of mine to sell 5,000 books minimum each. Again, if we go back to what Coach Sean said, what's the evidence you can do that in? My evidence is Paula Talent. We've done a million, we don't call that Talent already, so you can do that. Other authors who are selling books, of course they are, right? Again, it is back to that point, Judy, as you say, who are we here to serve? Once you know you're here to serve, then you can set that clarity, that goal, absolute clarity. And then create an identity, create a persona that tells you, that tells your God, that tells the world, I've got this. I will do this. Yes, that persona will change with time, but that's life. That's the beauty of life. We evolve. My friends, thank you so much for spending your time with me. So I'm glad I've kept you only 1 hour and 15 minutes today. Focus on the positives, Christy. Isn't that so true, right? Focus on the positives and focus on loving your clients. Focus on loving your audience. Focus on loving your community, the people that you're here to serve. Love them. Again, I'm sure I'm going to bring the topic now. I've asked you what really is love. How can you really love your clients? Because we must go there eventually. Make that part of identity. I think it is. And now I suddenly realize it. How much do we love the people that we're here to serve? If you say you do, see, when the things that we tell ourselves we are, my friend, it makes us do things differently. If I say I love my clients, then you can begin to see why I would say to you, whatever it takes to serve them better, I will do it. Whereas if you say to yourself, I don't really love my clients, I like what I do, then you're not going to do what it takes. You're going to focus on making money instead. You're going to focus on just the comfort zone, getting through each day as basically as you can. So, Bro Charlie, I'll leave you with this, my friend. You are what you are searching for. Isn't that good? See, there must be a God, right? There must be. Brother Charlie, you're going to start today. One day, I hope you will join us to our stage and share with us some of your thoughts. Look, if we're going to help you, so get in touch with me. I can't thank you enough. Time with us. I don't think I have an event tomorrow. I'm doing books business on Friday. So I'm going to publish a book that I have to publish today, which is nearly finished. The book is nearly done. I'm telling myself I'm a publisher, so I spend all my days publishing books. Right? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. It's Margaret. You enjoy your evening. Thank you so much. Take care.
And he sees you. He sees you. He sees you. Oh, from the children with no voice in borrowed rooms to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand.